Hello, this is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and we have an OTA. And I'm going to tell you right at the start, this is another mid one. I'm going to complain this video for everything they're doing right about card acquisition right now. And if you're interested in my take on that, check this morning's video for everything they're doing right about card acquisition. And I do think they're absolutely nailing the new system with far more generosity than I thought. I think the meta is starting to get stale because they're refusing to change some of the absolute key cards. Let's talk about it by beginning with the first card that they did change. This is the one big hit of the OTA today. This is the one nerf that was necessary. Raccoon Groot was just going in too many decks. It was just an absolute ton of power. It goes from a 3/3 to a 3/2. This is still a great card, but it is now a great card that is sometimes going to be worse than Copycat, sometimes going to be not quite Gladiator versus decks. At this point, it was just like I need have a spot for a 3-drop. I should run Rocket and Groot. Hopefully, this 3/2 starting stat line brings that down just a little bit. It might still need to be a 3/1, but I'm fine starting with a 3/2. For now, this is at worst the very top of A tier, but it's probably an S tier card. Where this really does affect the card, seemingly, is its combination with Iron Patriot. However, Iron Patriot is on something of a downswing, but it is good to make it worse with Iron Patriot. The problem with playing with Iron Patriot is you would try and play Iron Patriot where your opponent wasn't going to play a card, right? So you're up 3. If you can then get priority, you can then be up to 3/6, but if the opponent plays there, they're now trying to overcome 8 power because Rocket Groot's going to steal a power from that card. Being able to having to overcome 8 just at the start for this is a big deal. 7 is still freaking huge, but it's surmountable, right? Like if they're playing a gladiator, now a gladiator there will at least hold you down, win that location. So like there is some upside to Rocket and Groot taking this hit. This is going to be an amazing early play in almost every situation now, but it's worse if you want to play it late. Like if you play it on turn 5, there's less cards left to be played in the game, and that should weaken the card up a fair amount. There's less time to move it. If you miss, now it's a kind of shitty 3/2, which is pretty good. If the opponent just plays Luke, you now have a below rate card that's actively bad for you. Like these are all important things in this point for weakening this card. Again, it's still so good that it might end up being a 3/1, needing to be a 3/1, but for the time being, this is a very good nerf and an important one. So with 2 triggers, this is now going to be a 3/6 instead of a 3/7. With 3 triggers, it's a 3/8 instead of a 3/9. That's a meaningful difference, right? But this is still fundamentally vision for 3 cost, right? Like, or at least Jeff for 3. Well, no, it's Jeff's ability on Vision for 3 costs. You can move Vision once because you play it on turn 5, so it ends up being fundamentally Vision for 3 costs. Cool. So that seems like a really good deal to me. This card is going nowhere, but at least it got nerfed. Hey, um, where's the Scream and Sam Wilson nerf? Scream has been the highest win rate card in the game since its release. It is currently in almost all the top decks by all the stats we have. It's absolutely insane. Scream is incredible. It is a completely broken card. It doesn't need a huge nerf. Just try it as a 2/1. So that if it's in the same location as the shield, we can still Red Guardian at least. Right? And how is Sam Wilson not a 2/2? It needs to be a 2/8. A 2/7 is too weak. Like Sam Wilson is in almost every deck right now. Like this morning we covered a Thor's deck that runs Sam Wilson. Why does it run Sam Wilson? Because it's a 2/8 and we need a 2-drop. And why the hell would you not run a 2/8? There's no other 2 that compares to that without having to put work into it. So Scream and Sam Wilson aren't hit, but Rocket and Groot are. And like, hey, let's look at this deck. Scream Connoisseur is top 10 playing this deck. There's another Scream deck that has an even better win rate. This lost 1 point of power in Rocket and Groot. Scream stays the same, Sam stays the same. Do we think this deck is going anywhere? I don't. I think that this, at the start of the day, was the best deck, and at the end of the day is the best deck. It lost a point of power. I wish I had another way to put this, except that, like, as of right now, this list is a absolute non-questionable tier 1 list, and it lost 1 point of power. And we could have shaken up the meta, right? But for anything to be good, it has to be better than this list, and that's just such a tall order. It's just such a tall order. Because since Scream came out, she's been in this position. The next change is the one that actually bothers me. The previous thing I get, like, the Scream decks are the best, but they're not alone in tier 1. The Modok change affects 2 different decks. It affects the Dracula discard, and it affects the Bullseye list. Modok is without any kind of question an S tier card as long as discard is good. It goes in 2 different discard decks, one of which is a B tier, and one of which is an A tier, S tier, top tier, whatever your top tier is. The bullseye list goes in that. The apocalypse list is usually not very good. It's been flirting with the top 10. I think right now I have it around 14 in the meta. Losing a point of power actually hurts that deck. That deck is trying to win one lane by sort of abusing the power of Dracula with Apocalypse that can get so big that it can win a lane all by itself. It's trying to win a lane on the back of that, and then it's trying to win another lane by just sort of like getting close on points and doing enough. Modok's power was important to that. Losing a power is annoying. The deck is still playable, it just lost a little bit. It was ranked 14, it's probably ranked 15 now, something like that. The Bullseye deck, though, does need to be reined in. It's a top tier deck, and it's been a top tier deck since literally Alex Kochia put Bullseye into that shell the day that deck came out. Losing a power to that deck doesn't matter. I like it all. Like a single power means nothing. Bullseye plays as like a 312 at least. Your Dakin combos make them both 32 power at least, which is absurd, crazy amount of power, right? But like your 7 power is not winning or losing your game 90% of the time in that matchup, right? Not more than 90% of the time. And then the other thing you're trying to do is you're going to scale up Meek, Collector, and Morbius, Meek, Collector, and Morbius. And your scaling of those cards gets so huge that your Modok power is nice, right? It helps, but like between Bullseye and everything else, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like, and I'm a big like every time someone goes 1 point doesn't matter, I think they're just generally wrong. 1 point almost always matters in Marvel Snap. I don't think this one does. Bullseye had to be a 3/1 here. It has to be the easy and only Red Guardian target in the deck, just like they made sure that Madam Web was the only Red Guardian target in move. Bullseye needs to be the only real target for for Red Guardian in this deck. And they didn't do that, and I'm boggled why. Instead, they hit a card that goes in another deck that was good but wasn't great, while not affecting the great deck. If you're wondering what deck I'm talking about, Alex Kochia made this deck with Gambit in the Grandmaster spot. Grandmaster is much better. Literally, like the exact day that Bullseye came out. The deck has changed literally no cards except Gambit for Grandmaster since it came out, and is a meta deck. It's insanely strong. Like, how have we not hit this? This deck has existed for 3 months. It's time. The next OTA needs to hit Bullseye. 3/1, maybe even 3/0. We're going to talk about more changes. First, hit that sub button if you're willing to. We're almost at 20,000. We give you 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos. This week we have 9 videos. We cover Marvel Snap more thoroughly and completely than anyone. Don't miss out on subbing and ring that bell because tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., like every day, we will have the top 10 decks in Marvel Snap. We are also giving away a season pass. You can enter on this video by subbing, liking, and commenting. What comment to leave will be later this video. And finally, we are hosting a major tournament. I'm not going to get into any great detail, but it's got $500 in prizes. It is sponsored by the people we run the tournament through, topdeck.gg. And if you're interested in a tournament, just hit topdeck.gg to go create your own. And finally, if you're interested in joining this tournament, please join our Discord and we will get you set up with all that information. It's linked in this and every video we publish. All right. The first Ghost Rider apparently landed with a thud because they made it a 2/6 instead of a 2/5. I think this probably pushes it from D to C tier. 2/6 is a lot of stats, and the cards are discarding, the index it's discarding, don't really care about, like, they're not losing him any power. 2/6 is good. I think we should try this deck again now. There was this deck that a bunch of people were messing around with that ran, it's basically running Gore and Iron Man as a discard package with first Ghost Rider, but it was unplayable because there was just too much discard around. And when you were like discarding cards, like you would discard cards the Khonshu week, you were discarding cards the opponent really wanted, and that didn't end up really helping the list. We should go back to that list and visit it, and this first Ghost Rider buff is a nice reminder to do so. I don't think this is going to push this higher than a C. I'm not that hopeful, but hey, it's worth a try, and I'm happy they made this buff to like push us toward this. I do have to say one thing though, poor frickin' Silver Samurai, who's still sitting there at double the cost of this, but as a 4/5, while this gets to be a 2/6. Wild. All right, so this is Nithiel's Conchu. He climbed to the top 20 with this. the season that this was around. So, um, I don't know. This seems like a reasonable place to start. I'm gonna test this deck out again. I had given up this deck for dead, giving it an extra power, and honestly, more than giving it extra power, reminding you that it exists seems pretty cool. I'm curious to see how this one plays. I think this could have some legs. From here, we get the Devil Dino change. I don't know. I'm more excited about this than this probably warrants. Dino going to a 5/4 seems big to me. This card keeps almost being good. It's just sort of like edged out by Gore, but it costs 5 and Gore costs 6, and now we have some extra things to really push this up. If you're early series 3 or late, like if you're late series 2 or early series 3, this one really will make a difference too. But they just released Kahori, and Kahori cares about having this full hand, while Devil Dino cares about having this full hand, and Victoria cares about playing these cards. I think all these cards may go together. We might be inching up on something real here to do with this early series card, series 1 literally card. I think this probably pushes him to a B, like a B minus, but a B. So it's possible to use him with Gore instead of Iron Man, or use him with Iron Man instead of Gore in a lot of different shells, and this becomes reasonable. Again, I am hopeful. I think that this has some real legs. The reason I like the idea with Gore, by the way, is that you want a lot of on reveals with Gore, right? So on reveals can make more on reveals, can make more on reveals, which go on the board to make you a big Gore and a big Devil Dino. This is a list. This is actually the best this is one of the best of the Kahori lists right now. And it's a Victoria hand, Devil Dino, Kahori. The list just got an extra power. That seems cool to me. I don't know. We go double Devil Dino, right? Along with a Victoria hand, the moon with that moon girl. That seems like a big body. I think this is cool. I don't like. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm huffing the copium, but this one seems like it has some legs. I think this is like a fairly legit buff to Devil Dino. Someone was running Devil Dino in these lists. I think it was Eco was running Devil Dino in these lists. I was like, Devil Dino's a bad card. I think giving it an extra power, I don't know if it makes it a good card, but with Kahori and Victoria hand, I'm interested. I'm curious, and I think I'm huffing copium, but I think that I'm willing to mess with this. Hey, come check out a stream. I'll be streaming the recording of the podcast where I'm going to go over this very OTA along with the June cards. That's right, the June cards and the new what's it called? Snap Pack system tonight on the podcast. Come to twitch.tv/BlueSky to check it out. All right, so the season pass question, if you'd like to win the season pass, is just what is your OTA review? We've got like 2 more cards to talk about. First is Iron Patriot, who becomes a 3/2. This is a B tier card for early Series 3 and then it disappears, and it's still totally fine there. Anything here that makes his lane less of a joke has use, so that's pretty cool too. This also might bring up a little bit of Patriot Surfer back, and I always loved that deck, so that being at least semi-reasonable also seems cool. This is a solid anti-red guardian buff. You can put it in a lane with a card, and now if it has 2 power, it's less likely to immediately get red guardian and thus be useless. So it's not bad. Is this like super relevant? No. But if you're early Series 3, you open this, you open Mystique, you open Ultron, you have a deck. So this is a Den deck. It's Patriot with extra power, basically saying you're running the Patriot thing because you can just go Patriot, drop a Moonstone on it, or drop Mystique on it and Ultron, and you're fairly likely to win. You can also, however, end up doing some silly things with like Patriot, Squirrel Girl, Debris type nonsense, and then you can go play Iron Man into if you played Moonstone, you can play Iron Man into Mystique under Iron Man and win lanes that way, and then try and spread some power. I don't know. This again, is this going to be great? No. This might have legs though. Like this is a real early push for those early game powerful plays, for those like early series powerful plays. Next up, we have my single favorite change of the OTA. Redwing becomes a 3/5. So, for those of you who don't know, um, Redwing was originally data mined as a 1/2 bounce card, and I love bounce, and it really, really hurt my feelings when they didn't give us that bounce card, and instead made Redwing this, and I wanted to hate this card. But Redwing is really fun and really good, and a bunch of people didn't buy him, and few people play him, and I don't think this raises his tier, but this makes him a better card, and he does have a bundle coming out. We're doing a big bundle review relatively soon for all the bundle cards. I think this should make the card played more, and it's a really good card. It's hard to get if you're not going to spend money on that bundle, but snap packs are coming, so if you decide if this becomes meta and you want it, that's really great. I think that this card is very good. It's a B tier card, like a reasonably high B tier card, and I think when more people play it, everyone's going to know it. This was one of my highest win rate decks last season from our friend Thursday. I also have a different Redwing deck in this morning's video. If you would like to see a totally different take on Redwing, that works really well. This list is awesome. This list wins a lot of games of Marvel Snap. It was one of my highest win rate decks of last season. It still works just fine this season. It just got an extra power in a real and meaningful way. Hell yeah, let's go. I think Redwing is a very good card. I don't have any other way to put that except I think Redwing really really helps this list. It's like it's built around Redwing and using the power of Redwing and Dracula to cheat power, while also having a little bit of extra like spice from Vulture, who can be bigger than Infinite because move is silly, and like just everything here sings together. I, if you can play this deck, right? Like if you're a Redwing from this deck, like it's possible that you're Redwing Aranya Madam Web from this deck, and then at the end of the month, if you hold off on updating right away, check this morning if you don't know what I'm talking about. This morning's video. But you can hold off and you can like get Redwing, Aranya, and Madam Web, and then like you throw a fucking Waspin for Makari, and you just have a meta deck. Like you throw a what you call it, Magneto for Red Hulk and a Waspin for Makari. You just suddenly have this cool meta deck on the cheap. And Redwing gets better. I'm all about this one. This one's huge. I'm almost as happy about this as I am annoyed about the Modok. But seriously, second dinner, because this is the last card before we do our Patreon thanks. Fix Sam Wilson so it's not in every deck. Fix Scream so it's not the best thing. Scream and Bullseye have been the two best things and the two most obvious things in solved decks forever. It's time to hit them. Let's go. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. Patreon.com/snapjudgments if you are interested. Our patron of the month is Fat Nick. Then we have Abigail Giesland, Manager Burnout, Irregardless, LAB, Inc., I Am Frostman, Hota Navidete, Thinking Poker, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Caretix Lee, Koi Ray, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Profos, The Goat Seeker, Hollowed, Only Fox, Synth, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bezza, Black Jeebus 23, Extra C and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slusheth, The Kinker Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevsiota, Luna, Chris, Clam, Colonel Foreman, Bricks, Do Click, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Mista, Craig, Starry, Matt V., Ryan Wrench, Corwin, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Q Down, Gist Out, 8 Sage, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Mick Foley, BG, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Decido, Mod Supreme, Models, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan 56, The Vigilance, Spectrum Mix, Hoot, Ocularis, Matt H, DJ Micah Hedgings, No Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Zodrick, The King of Canada, Denman Falcon, Father Newman, Jonesy, Two Ties, Long Whatevs, The Pirate King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T. The T stands for, I don't know what this accent is, but I'll see you tomorrow. Top 10 decks. My goal for the top 10 decks video is for you to understand the meta, understand what is meta by just watching one video, and you to be all caught up. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow.